Okay, what we want to do in this video, which is really targeted to Windows users, those of you who have Windows-based computers, is to talk a little bit about the difference between Mac Excel and Windows Excel 365. There are actually very few differences, and the fact of the matter is that if you can move around the screen with your Windows computer, you can figure some things out. We've had success in classes doing that sort of thing. And Office 365 has a very similar look and feel for both platforms. Incidentally, we are not elitist. We use both Windows and MacBooks. We were finding more students leaning toward MacBooks, which is why we did the tutorials on the Mac platform, but we also like Windows. I use Windows all the time, and so don't feel if you have a Windows computer you're somehow a second-class citizen. Actually, the Windows platform is a very powerful and productive platform. So anyway, just a few differences, just because we use the Mac, as I said, for the example demos or the example presentations. First of all, this is Jill's data. This is the single case design data. I'm going to do one on single case and one on group design, and then it all applies for the rest of the examples, including your own example when you get to your data in your projects. So remember we went from the data to Jill's progress chart, and so we did that whole thing. I'm not going to do that. The steps are absolutely the same, just it looks a little differently. So one of the first teensy differences is the fact that you will not see the ribbons typically in the Windows version. What you have to do is click on a menu item, and then the ribbons will drop down. As far as I can tell, the ribbons are identical or very close. The content maybe shifts a teensy bit, but by and large, once you click on one of the menu items, you're going to get the same the same ribbons that you saw in the MacBook. So that part's very similar, in fact. And let's see. So there's that, and then in the progress chart, you'll see the same thing. Remember, you have to select it, and then if you click on the design menu, you can go to your change chart elements and do your quick layouts and that sort of thing. There's some other things if you want to fool with it you can do, but the drawing tools are in the format tab, very similar to that. This, I think, is a little teensy different than the other version, but all the tools are there. I just think you get to them slightly differently. And I'm using defaults here, so some of you, this might not be entirely accurate even for Windows users. You may have ribbons that actually stay down and all, but I actually like the drop-down approach. So you click on it, you get it, click on it, it goes back up. Gives you a little more real estate on the screen. We have some tools over here. We won't do too much with, but they sort of correspond to. I've never used filters, but this would change the chart type, and then this actually is a little icon that lets you change your chart elements. So if you, and it doesn't, you don't actually edit out of this, but what you can do is turn items off and on. So for example, when we did the multiple line graphs, we had a legend, so you could turn the legend off here. Hope that made sense. So so it's just a nice little feature that I didn't remember seeing actually in the Mac version. So that's probably the big difference for single case design. There's just a couple more differences in the group design. So let's switch over to our group design data. You'll remember you get all of these things the same way. You got formulas up in the formula bar. You got your drop downs again, the same kind of look and feel. So that doesn't change much. The one thing that might be slightly different, probably the thing that really prompted this video in some ways, is how do you get the data analysis tool pack? It's a little bit differently done in the Windows version. So if you remember, in the Mac version, we clicked on an upper menu, insert, and then went to add-ins and did the add-in selection there. I don't know if you remember that, but it was pretty straightforward. And we're going to do that as well here, but it's just in a different location. So if you click on data, if you click on the data tab, you can see it's already installed. The data analysis tool pack is already installed here. And actually, I'll tell you, when I just downloaded this from Microsoft a couple of days ago, I updated my own Excel versions here on my personal equipment. The data analysis pack came installed. So if you get this, if you get the Windows version from OSU, you might already find this installed. But if you don't find it installed, let me tell you where to find it. Go to the File menu, click on the File menu. You get a bunch of options here that are actually quick. They're quick menu options, so you can open and save as, and print and do other things that you've seen before. So if you go to Options, you'll get into this Excel Options tab, cleverly, and then click Add-ins. If your Analysis Tool Pack is, well, you already have seen it if it shows up on the menu bar, but you can. I just want you to see here where it shows up in this, because if it's not on the menu bar, it will be in the inactive application add-ins area. So if that's true, you click on it. I'm not going to do the Euro currency tools. I don't need it, but you click on it. So you would be down here selecting your analysis tool pack. And then what you need to do, don't click OK. You actually have to go to Manage Excel Add-ins, and you click on Go. There might be, I'm not going to do it here because it's already a part of my implementation, but when you click on Go, there might be a dialog or two that you have to follow, but essentially make sure you follow those, or the data analysis tool pack add-in feature will not show up. And you do need that, basically, as you know, for doing your t-test. So if you go into it, it's going to look exactly the same as the Mac implementation. We did our paired samples t-test and our two samples assuming equal variances t-test, so we discussed that in the presentation. So honestly, I don't know that we had to do this for Windows users. It just seemed to be a nice courtesy, and also there might be a couple of things different here that will be helpful for you if you're using a Windows-based machine. And stick with it. It's actually they're as I said, they're very productive tools. So anyway, well, that's a difference between Windows and Mac, sort of in a nutshell. There may be some other cosmetic things, but by the time you look at this and you look through all of the examples that we played for you, you should be coming at least close to being comfortable using Excel for managing some of your practice data.